viewers, and welcome to the program A Nation in Peace. This is a program coming to you from the studios of LYB, put together by the Bauchi State Muslim Parliament, supported and sponsored by the Office of the Chairman, Senate Committee on Intelligence and on Security and Intelligence, distinguished Senator Shehu Buba Umar. You're welcome to the program, and we do hope you stay on the program for this very, very thoughtful discussion with eminent personalities on the panel to do justice to the topic, which will look at the perspectives of causes of insecurity in Nigeria, what and why this, for over the years, these insecurity issues is bedeviling this great nation of over 200 million people. Is it unsurmountable? Or why are we not facing the challenge to bring peace to this teeming population of the largest population in Africa? Today, on this panel, these eminent personalities will look at the issues from different perspectives, from the socio-economic, political, or religious perspectives, to see why is it not possible for us to tackle this challenge arising from kidnapping, banditry, youth restiveness, religious intolerance, border skirmishes, tribal and community crisis. Why all these issues continue to mount and to be a great challenge to this nation. With me on the panel, I have Barrister Khalil Abdullahi, an Islamic activist, a consummate medical professional, and legal advisor and secretary to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi. Barrister, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you for having me.
On the other side, I have another eminent personality, a lecturer, a university don, was Abu Sadu Zungur University here in Bauchi, in the Department of Political Science, Dr. Omar Musa Adam. Doctor, you're welcome on the program.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So these two eminent personalities are going to discuss this issue. We do hope you stay on the program, and we hope you enjoy your stay on the program. Doctor, I would like you to open this discussion, being a political scientist, a lecturer who is very versatile in this area of political studies. Over the years, what can we say are the factors responsible for this insecurity in Nigeria?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa sallallahu ala nabil kareem. Alhamdulillah, thank you once again for having me. As you rightly pointed out, the issue of insecurity with all its dimension you've mentioned of loose borders, banditry, youth restiveness, and so many myriad of them is not a single factor phenomena. Is a phenomena that is multifaceted, and looking at it on several angles is going to give the good picture of it. I will begin with saying that individuals make families, and families makes community. Families make community, and community establish governments. So the root cause of every insecurity you see could be traced based on the individual, family, and community level. If you have good leadership that is head on to face all the societal problems, that means you have a very good grassroots community. If you have it the other way around, it means you have a problem right from the individual and community level. Before now, alhamdulillah, we have been a good people, meaning that we recognize leadership at family level We recognize leadership at community level. We recognize leadership at the traditional level. So any problem that arises within our society, these individuals, right from Meangua, right from Dekachi, going up to Sariki, they all face our issues head on. But the problem along the line was that we lost focus such that even at family level, you cannot control individuals. You may have a child or a cousin, brother, or whatever, who if he does something wrong and you try to stop him, it will be a problem. So this, the accumulation of this resulted in youth restiveness. And the moment you have youths or individuals that are not disciplined, then definitely you are going to have community full of...
That will manifest in the community.
Yeah. And even at the leadership level, control will be very difficult. Take, for instance, if you have a government serious about community development, maybe establishing 1, 2, 3, 5 projects in order to improve the lives of people, an individual do not view government as anything. They view government as whatsoever government established, we can destroy it. There is nothing. They have money, they are going to do it again. So that sense of feeling that everything put by the government is ours, it's not there.
It's not there. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not there. So
whatever belongs to government belongs to no one.
It's a no man's property. Yeah, you can destroy it, and it will not yield anything good, because if where the government effort is to try to arrest issues like poverty, try to make people employed, and people are not even feeling that whatsoever project is being established by the government is important, then definitely you will have society that are against the government. And against the government is at the same time against ourselves, because whatsoever resources used by the government is our resources. So long as we have this psyche, this understanding, then we are going to have things right. And coming up to the level of leadership, it's unfortunate for Nigeria that for a very long time we have leadership that are more or less nonchalant about societal problems, especially at its infant level. Yeah, before now we do have leaders that are very concerned about what happens at the grassroots. They face it head on. They seek for leadership in order to serve the community. But later on, things were changing. Leaders or individuals seek for positions in order to enrich themselves. And they are not, they do not bother about community development. If there is a problem at the grassroots, it's none of their business. So long as they are getting the material things they are there for. So therefore, you will find out that these problems we have mentioned has been given little attention. In some aspects, very weak attention. The government has not, or leadership has not been so much concerned about arresting problems at their grassroots, thinking that we live individually, we only can go back to these people when there is election. So this has weakened the leadership such that our problems have not been solved by the government.
Right, from the grassroots.
Yeah, well, from the grassroots.
Exactly.
So these are the things in a nutshell. The causes are based on individual, community, and even at government.
Your analysis about the local community, and like you are narrowing that analysis to our peculiar situation in the north.
Yeah.
What can you say generally about other communities in Nigeria? Yeah. Is it the same?
Yes. When I speak of Nigeria at large, because all these problems you mentioned, although there are some activities or some problems are more pronounced in some regions than the others, but this is a general problem. Even the kidnapping issue, the kidnapping has been familiar long ago in the south. Yeah, the issue of kidnapping. Later, it's changed dimension and it came to the northwest. So I'm talking about Nigeria in general. The issue of indiscipline at community level is general. The issue of disregarding
that
community
recognition
leaders,
of the leadership right from the grassroots. In some other communities, let's say in the Igbo communities, in the Yoruba communities, do they have the same recognition of that family ties evolving from there up to the...
Yeah. They used to say that communities in the southeast and south are acephalous societies.
Yeah.
But then this is just a perception. It could be more pronounced in the north. Adhering to central leadership is more pronounced in the north. But notwithstanding, there are chiefs, there are community leaders, even in the south.
Which people in the local recognize that authority.
Of course. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barrister, I would like you to chip in here before we move to some other areas of this topic. What, in your perception, what are the major factors responsible for the situation that we find ourselves today?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. And like Dr. rightly said, actually, when we are talking about insecurity, disturbances, all these problems we have on ground, they are multifaceted actually. So many things are responsible for it. Take, for example, in addition to what Doctor has said, what about population explosion? A community that used to have about 100,000 people, now 1 million people are living in the same place. You are expected them to share the same resources they used to share when there were only 100,000 people. 1 million or more are there now to share the same resources, the same land, the same occupation, the same source of income, the same story. Definitely, you know, things will not go well. And naturally, more people are born, more people have graduated from school, so many people are on the street. What do they do to earn a living?
The resources has been overstretched now.
Overstretched. Now, this overstretching of resources makes some to take up law into their hands. Now, what do I do to gain meaningful living? What do I do to earn a living? And of course, not only a living, it's not the living of our forefathers. The living of this day is a living of enjoyment. What do I do so that a friend of mine who is also 30 in the other part of the world that rides a car, that can travel by air, that can get all facilities. People watch now. You know, this internet world has made the whole world a small place that everybody knows about what is happening in other places. And people are watching people who are very few. And they are comparing that with people you are talking about who are over 200 million in Nigeria. Probably sharing the same resources that maybe 50 million, 70 million people
were sharing that.
No much has been done to address this increase we have that is radical, that is coming at the same time. Everybody is looking for attention, and people are watching. They are tapped away from knowing what is happening in other places, and they make comparison, and they'll discover that there is no good life for them. So if there is no good life for me, what do I do at my own corner to ensure that I live the life I want to live? This takes so many people into crimes. This takes so many people into drugs. And you know, once there are drugs, there are crime. These are evil, they say twin evils that go together. Once there is one, there is the other. Okay, I cannot get what I want.
When there is absence of one,
you get the other. Yeah, of course you get the other. So once somebody feels he's prostrated, he cannot get what he's looking, there is no promise in this life.
He must look for a way.
Yeah, you have to look for a way. So in looking for this way, this is where some, unfortunately, our younger ones are taking the wrong direction. Some go into different kind of crimes. So kidnapping, take kidnapping for instance. It's on record that some people connive to kidnap their own parents,
Exactly.
their own biological parents. So you imagine, for somebody to make a living, is thinking that the best way he can is to kidnap either his brother, his father, or even his mother. So if this is left unchecked, and now what do? We need to engage these youths. What do we do to engage them? We just need to get them engaged.
Before we go into that now, what you are saying is much more like I'm just thinking that conflict between herders and farmers now. Now you are talking about the shrinking of the
resources. Of course,
of the resources.
It is. Farmers and herders crisis is something that has been age long. It's long, but the manifestation, the gravity, the seriousness is now getting. It's much higher. It has been there in the history, but then it's something you can manage. A district,
because of some of these factors now we are talking about.
Because there is pressure. There is pressure on the bush. There is pressure on the cattle route. There is pressure on farmers. There is pressure for everybody to multiply what he has been having because of the population pressure he has at home. And it's the same resource. Everybody wanted to use these resources, and therefore there will be conflicts. And this conflict can only be addressed by getting the younger ones engaged beneficially, so that maybe their attention, even for somebody to come to say, yes, there is life, there is hope. By the time I am 30, I am 40, I can establish my family. This expectation alone is enough to keep somebody on the track for 10 years, struggling. But by the time you come to conclusion that, look, there is no hope for me, even if I work hard, even if I follow the narrow path, even if I follow the path of my predecessors, like the doctor was saying, that, look, there is nothing for me. So I better get it now. Where do you get it? Everything is choke up. Then you think of crime. Okay, maybe when you fight, maybe when you do this, you'll be able to take over particular things that were not yours to become your own possession. These have taken so many youth into crime. Some of the crimes, unfortunately, you cannot do them when you are in your normal senses. So some of them will devolve into drugs so that they can get what they want successfully executed without caring about who suffers what. So actually, this is holding our society terribly.
Doctor, Barrister is talking about the socio-economic factors. Out of your studies or your researches and so many things like this, have you ever been thinking about what are the possible ways that does the political leadership comes in here, or how do we approach these issues? Because if you look at it now, from time to time, say there is kinetic approach and non-kinetic approach. I don't know these kind of terminologies. Why do we put them in these perspectives?
Okay, thank you. When you come to solution, definitely the role of political leadership is very, very paramount. Barrister has rightly pointed out the issue of population explosion. Exactly. But when you compare Nigeria with some other countries, Nigeria is still a baby population. Compare, for instance, Nigeria with China. China is in billion. India is in billion. And the population projection is that Nigeria will grow in population by 2050 to be the second most populous country. So the population growth rate is high. Yeah. So, and when we look at what other populous countries have put in place to manage this enormous human resources, because human resources is a catalyst for development. It's not a problem. In fact, it's an asset. But it can only be an asset when you transform that population to a meaningful population. So the role of government is very, very paramount. How many, for instance, if you ask yourself, in Bauchi State alone, how many companies do we have that employ 2,000 people? Just 2,000 people. As Barrister pointed out, that people are alive in order to earn a living. And if you don't have anything for them, then they feel hopeless. So definitely the outlets of employment, the government should engage these teeming youths. Keeping them engaged will certainly reduce the pressure. It will reduce the problems. And not only government alone, we should also think at private level. People are nowadays over-ambitious. The pressure is too much on government, and we do underplay certain jobs that have been keeping our society for a very, very long time. Take, for instance, engagement in agriculture, with all its, whether it's animal production, whether it's food production, whether it's cash crop production. People are seeing it as an unnecessary labor. But it's the source of riches, as our people used to say. No matushan arziki. That farming is the source of riches. So definitely we also have to look inward as individuals, because the gap between the effort of government and this growing problem is very wide. So therefore, leaving government alone to solve the situation is not going to be a good solution. We should also look inward to ourselves.
But looking at the other nations that we are talking are more populous than Nigeria, what is the secret behind their success in managing this kind of, apart from the government, are there other
of course,
reliable?
Of course, usually governments are meant to make environment conducive.
Exactly.
Especially nowadays that the private sector is strong, the government makes sure that the private sector is good. All the laws, all what will make them triumph is put in place. So therefore, if you have companies, the companies are comfortable. They have been provided with the basic social amenities of power, of source of energy, other than power, other sources of energy such as sources of water, and everything, access road that will make them productive. And this reduce the burden on government. We have thousands, hundreds of thousands of companies, for instance in China, doing so many things such that you hardly can find someone that is unemployed, that is doing nothing, just waiting for what will happen. So usually government were focused in these countries, and they were able to make sure that this teeming population are not left as free radicals.
As free radicals.
They were engaged. Yes.
Doctor has mentioned government and private sector. As citizens of the country, do we have any contribution to making this situation?
Actually, we do. We have to be responsible ourselves. Discipline is very important.
Sure.
No matter how an investor wants to invest in any, he need to invest in the people who can make the company, the investment, a success story. Nobody want to invest in failures. Our rich people here have their own records. That the more you try to invest, the more people will think you are a fool.
Of course.
This is a free money that this one has come. Try a small farm in a village where you think they have not been to school. That they are villagers you want to assist. Okay, you want to take 1 million naira and farm rice there. You
try to exploit
record your experience. Then you will understand that our environment is so hostile that everybody is looking for the other to take.
Of course.
What do I make out of this man that has come to invest? So actually, we need to make ourselves, the citizens, have to make the environment very conducive for investor to come in. So many people have money to invest. Maybe $1 million, not necessarily big money. So you can have 100 people in a small community that are ready to invest 1 million each. And that is 100 million. And 100 million can take so many youth abroad. But unfortunately, if you try it, the success story you receive after that is, I felt that had I known, I could have not gone.
The next time you take your investment outside
the environment. And if anybody is crying in the environment, say, leave them. Are they not the people? So if you go around Bauchi, go around most of our cities in northern Nigeria and even southern Nigeria, you see investment that have failed. People made attempt to invest and it has failed. Go to private sector, discuss with them. I like listening to story of Dangote, how Dangote was able to survive all this. He has to use technology. He has to bring in foreigners. So many people are complaining, why is Dangote not having investment in Kano? He's running away from failure.
Of course.
This is money. You can't invest your money where you cannot get it back. He's investing for a reason. So he has to go to where he will get profit for his investment. People will not just unnecessarily go out on the day and destroy millions of naira and celebrate. So this kind of responsibility, the society have to appreciate that for us to get job for our youth, we need to make our youth disciplined, and we have to appreciate that we need this capital to survive.
Thank you very much. I think this discussion is very interesting. Doctor, I think we need to go forward from here. Look at these indices, these perspectives to expand and discuss on these issues so that we have a peaceful society. I think we have to stop here. Maybe look at some other terms, and then we'll come back for another discussion. Listeners, this is A Nation in Peace, a program put together by Bauchi State Muslim Parliament, supported and sponsored by the Office of the Chairman, Senate Committee on Security and Intelligence, distinguished Senator Shehu Buba. We thank you for staying tuned to watch the program. Join us next time for yet another interesting edition. On behalf of my colleagues, especially Muhammad Ibn Ali and Abu Bakr Ibrahim, who supervised the production of the program, this is LYB Studios. On behalf of my colleagues, I am Lala Hamid Bello. Thank you for staying tuned.